I'm Danielle from Cageless Readings. So welcome back to the channel, or welcome here. Today's pick a card reading topic, I wanted to focus on reconnection with yourself, like drawing you back into connection with your clarity and focus and what you're passionate about. So sometimes I find the chaos of the world around us can make us feel a little disconnected, make us lose sight of what our main focus was, what kept us going and feeling happy. And this card reading is to get you feeling that way again, remembering who do you want to be, what makes you excited, why do you find joy in this life. So we have 3 piles to choose from, and before I do that, I actually think I'm just going to clear the energy of you all. So my intention is to clear the energy around you and the environment you're in and just this space in general. So I'm just going to do that now quickly. Okay, and I guess it's just wanting a little extra time. I always see this as it likes to spin in one direction to clear energy, and then it spins in the other direction to fill it with new, clean energy. Okay, so we're giving a few more seconds here. So we are going to do 3 piles. I have pre-pulled some other cards for each pile, but I actually just really wanted to leave you all with just the top deck of the cards to decide on. So pile 1 here is the Medicine Woman Oracle card deck. I guess I can show you a picture of the front card. Very beautiful deck. They're all very shamanic feeling decks. This other one here is the Kyle Gray Angels and Ancestor Oracle cards. And it looks like so. And then pile 3 is the Mystic of Mandelene Oracle cards. And it looks like this. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just gonna let you use your intuitions and choose your card piles. Hello, pile 1. So you chose the first deck, the Medicine Woman Oracle cards, and I had pulled some cards from another deck, or a few other decks I should say, for this pile. So before I even look at these, I am just going to pull cards here, and I'm just setting the intention this be done in the highest good and love and light of all of you. And we are really just looking for any further clarification on reminders of who you are, what you've been through, who you want to be from your higher self. That's who we're intending on connecting with today, is your highest self. So just give me a second here. Okay, and I just want to thank all of you for liking and leaving any comments, because it does actually help so much with this specific video getting more views, and I really appreciate that. So thank you if you do that. I so appreciate it. Okay. Seems like you're getting a lot of blue cards. And anything else? Okay. I think I want one more. There we go. Okay. All right, we'll put these off to the side and let's see what you got. Okay, so we have Autumn. We have Bear Totem. We have Interconnection. Divine Sexuality. Creative Fire and Vision. And so many of these cards, I feel like it's the red that is drawing my attention. first. I was just wondering if these were red on the back, but they're actually the brown ones. Okay. And then we have everyone lies in their own, or sorry, everyone lives in their own dream. Put that in the center. Have some nature cards. We have beach, healing and balance, sunshine, shine forth, willow, veils parting, and summer bring to fruition. Then I have some other cards here. I had the goddess working with you right now as Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. Oh wow. I always feel like that's a powerful card. I always see it as like overcoming perceived limitations and kind of overcoming stereotypes is how I see that card. Okay, and then we also have a healing mantra which says inspiring others, and some crystals that you can work with right now. Okay, so maybe we'll just stick these off to this side for the moment and look at them once we get into your energy a little bit more. Oh, sorry, and I should just say the crystals are both saying perspective and abundance. So my first question for each pile was reminders for you from your higher self about where you come from and where you want to go and why you want to go there. And the thing that I'm being so drawn to in these top cards is the geometry in them. And geometry here is all about certain patterns being what makes up the realities around us. So I can't help but wonder if, there's also a lot of root chakra stuff. So there's, especially here too, like I keep seeing this card, this creative fire, as you've been feeling disconnected from that creation energy, from that, I almost feel like that wisdom you've learned. So I think for this pile, you've probably really had some sort of experience where you've really felt like you understand the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, like what you believe will happen is what will happen in your life. It's really interesting because even this card here, this card I pulled saying I really wanted something to leave each pile with that really, really resonated with them. And this one even talks about us all living in our own little realities, our own little stories. And I can't stop seeing that. It seems like such a strong message is that you know at your very root that somehow, some way, whether you fully understand how it works or not, that what you truly believe in your perception is going to create the story of your life, the story you choose to live in, whether that's lack, scarcity, abundance, connection, empowerment, disempowerment, hero, victim, that like, oh, I just feel that so deeply. And I really also see like all this is very divine feminine feeling energy about passion, about I see connection, and about, you know what, I keep seeing transformation because I feel like it just, I don't know, all the circles like that look like they're exploding out to me really feel like growth and expansion. So I don't know, I feel like this is something that, this is what your higher self is saying you've lost connection with recently. Maybe it's just been a short stint, or like I said, I feel like you already know this and you might have just found yourself overwhelmed or in some chaos where you forgot that you are aware of how you can affect the story you live in and take back control and grow. I feel like that's like a big thing here, is I feel like this pile really loves being on this earth to grow and to experience connection. There's also a lot of lotus flowers going on that keep catching my eye. And I don't know, when I see the lotus, I think of spiritual cleanse or spiritual detox. So I'm wondering if there's a little message here going on for you all about that. Might just be something you're going through right now, is like a spiritual cleanse, a spiritual detox. You might be going into some deeper layers of healing, all for your benefit, right? Like the more you heal, the deeper the layers go, the more you can live more fully and authentically in this newer version of yourself. And also, lotus flowers do symbolize abundance, prosperity. I think of fertility, but in most card readings, fertility usually means just being in a place of creation. And this woman's hair on fire, I just can't stop thinking about that creation energy, strong creation energy in right now. It doesn't even say creative fire, reveal your creative talent for an inspired life. And interesting that this card says something about inspiration when here it says your healing mantra. What gets you feeling good and realigned is inspiring others. So I can't help but wonder if a lot of you, and especially when I said I saw the Joan of Arc card, and to me that means having defied perceived limits, having overcome stereotypes and limits put on you by others, as I wonder if this is how you are in the world and around in the sorry, my getting all tongue tied. If this is how you are perceived by others, someone who's brave, who has a great heart. Like I feel like Joan of Arc was like very like focused. I mean, they say that she, I guess I should explain this if you don't know who she is. She was French, and she heard the voice of God and felt like I think she had to lead the people. And she won a lot of battles and won a lot of wars. You know what's funny is I don't even really remember what she was fighting for, other than that it was said that she spoke to God. And they all believed her to be a man, and once they realized she was a woman, they did kill her for it, which was a little bit sad. But the energy of her is just setting out and doing something people thought unattainable, not possible, and just completely being successful at it. So that's what I see for you. And I actually want to like skip to this healing mantra. It says, I help others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts. So this is what makes you feel good. This is what makes you feel happy and fulfilled. So between inspiring others and getting them to see their own beauty and power, yeah, I don't know, I can just feel that fuels the fire, that makes you go, I've made a difference in this world, and I'm living the story or the storyline I want to be living. And other things I just want to comment on, so there's like connection. Bear to me is all about gentleness and bravery. I don't know if that's actually what it means in this card deck, but I think of them as like, yeah, I don't know, I think really cuddly. They can be so kind to their young, and yet they're very strong and protective too. So I don't know, I feel like that's the kind of energy I get. Like maybe sets boundaries, with the right people, but is still able to be gentle and compassionate on the inside. I also, when I see the bear card, I feel like there's just a further confirmation that you did have to fight in a time in your life. You did push through some challenges, and they show on you, if that makes sense. Like you have this I feel like, what's the word? It's interesting. Like as I'm like trying to connect more into it, I feel like they're saying like it's in your eyes. Like it's like your eyes show that you haven't had the easiest life, but also that you've kept that compassion and this gentleness still within. And I feel like that might shock you, because I think a lot of people who have chosen this pile feel like they might be, I don't know, more armored sometimes, more guarded from people. How do I explain? Like it's like interesting. This bear card showing me how you perceive yourself versus how others perceive you. Others perceive you as very strong in your divine feminine energy, someone who can hold space for people. And same thing, it's like that such inspired creative energy. So I don't know what you all do for work. You could be literally holding space for people, or it could be they're showing me like you help people build their own ideas. So I don't know if you're literally building people up, or building people's confidence in themselves up. And I don't know if you do that for work or if it's just innately who you are, because like these 4 cards just keep saying that like you really it's like the vision card. It's really saying like you can see the potential and where like their gifts can take them in life or what they could do with it. Like you would be like a great business idea developer. Like I don't know if that's a job, but like I feel like people could meet with you and like you could just hear what they're interested in, have a conversation with them, and you could just give them some ideas about where they could go with that. Different business possibilities, different business ventures. Like I feel like you're just really good at that. But it doesn't even need to be just specifically around business. I think you're just really good at just like building people up in general. So it's really interesting. I feel like this is a really big part of who you are and like part of your purpose here and what you like to do for people. I think you like to empower them. I think you like to see other people find their spark and joy. And I think there's so much here. Like I'm just seeing like the eagle in the background and the interconnection is, oh, and interesting, and a wolf. And just really that ability for you to be able to work in groups, but also see clearly the whole situation. So I feel like you have come to a point in your life where you have a lot of wisdom and you have a lot of learned lessons from difficulties you've overcome yourself in your life. And it really does come through. So why is this all coming up in a reminder and a connection reading is that it's sometimes important to remember where you came from and that you are making a difference. I think for this pile, it's so important to know that you really are being an inspiration to others. You do light people up. You do just inspire them by being who you are and even living the life that most people wouldn't perceive possible for you to be living. And the other thing I'm so interested in here, so this autumn, it says a time for letting go, lighten your load, and retire into your den to find answers. These feel a little separate from these other cards here. So I can't help but wonder if this is like a little advice to you for how you can feel a little more connected with yourself. Is it saying it's time to kind of come back around, regroup with yourself? I feel like maybe this pile can probably sometimes go into cycles of maybe burnout from helping others. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's quite overworking. I think that's what it is. I think this pile, I don't know if you've associated with the title workaholic in your life or overachiever or something, but I feel like there is a bit of that energy. But that energy is what got you in this position that people didn't expect you could get into. So there is like a light and a shadow attribute to that quality of you. But the whole point here is that definitely giving some guidance that it's time to kind of like slow that down, regroup with yourself. It's like literally when it says lighten your load, I feel like it's literally take more time for joy and play. And although you might like your work, it can get exhausting and you want to keep it in balance so that it's fueling you, not exhausting you. Okay, and then the other thing, retire into your den to find answers. So yeah, there's definitely something going on where right now with all the solar flares, if you're watching this when it's coming out, they do, when they spike, they do create almost like a clearing effect within us. It brings up old stuff for us to let go or feel through. And I just feel like if you're watching this as this comes through, you might be finding yourself in situations where you are just like old stuff is coming up. You're going to be in situations maybe with family or with friends or work that are reminding you of old situations, or maybe you're dreaming a lot of the past right now and past actual moments, and it's just really saying like, don't be hard on yourself, don't try to stuff it down. It's coming through for it to be healed and released. So you might just need to take some time to regroup and sort of process and release that. You know what? I keep getting the message to look up the spiritual meaning of the color. What is that? Like tan? I don't know. It's not quite right. Spiritual, because there's so much of that here. Spiritual meaning of color tan. Tan? We'll call it tanned. Grounding. Okay. So, sorry, just on the Google. So it just says the spiritual meaning of tan is associated with grounding, stability, and reliability. It represents practicality and simplicity while encouraging growth. So back to that grounding aspect, really does make sense for this pile. And I just really want you to know, like, I think you're just in this sort of feeling weird, disconnected stage because there is, I think it is solar flare related. I think it is, could even be like full moon, new moon related, depending on when you're coming out. It feels very environmental and like a very natural detox. Like your body's just honoring like the environment around it, all these upgrades and ascensions and all this crazy shit that's going on right now on the planet, to help us release things that are burdening us or weighing us down so that we can become lighter. And also I can't stop looking at this whale and the snake card, so I just keep going like there is some stuff still for this pile that you're releasing in from your past, in your family system. So maybe you were married for a really long time and there was some emotional trauma there that you're healing through. Whatever it is, I just really feel like it's saying like, I feel like there's this block, and once you feel through it, you're going to be able to be really more connected than you've ever felt before. And it's feels very transformative and very powerful, and it all comes back to, I think you decided you wanted to write your own story, create your own story. You didn't want to just be, what would you say, that a bystander in your own story. You wanted to be the star of it. You want to be the main character, and you want to take control of that. So this is just why it's all coming up, because you want that, and we're just in that phase of letting go so you can get there. So I think perspective has to be a really, really big thing right now, because like I said, I see the eagle, which to me represents seeing the whole situation clearly. There's eyes all up in here, which represents to me, once again, seeing the situation from all sides and from that higher perspective. Yeah, just, I don't know. I feel like that's such a big theme sticking out for me. So perspective, it says Larimar and Neptune. So I did want to pull two crystal cards in case one crystal was maybe one that is hard to come by wherever you are, or maybe you happen to have another crystal, you know, whatever. I just wanted to give a couple of options. So cards to work with right now, if you'd like, and you like working with crystals, yes, is Larimar for helping with that higher perspective, that clearer sight, and Smoky Amazonite for abundance, which I think both these cards go really well with. This one's more for clearing the situation, and this Smoky Amazonite feels really good for calling in and becoming the powerful storyteller you know you are, taking charge. I mean, I also love Smoky anything for grounding, so that also feels really important for this pile. Oh, sorry, that is my cat. It's cold outside, but it looks nice through the window, so she keeps getting a little sad. But she also really, really hates having cold paws, so yeah, that's her over there. Okay, so I want to kind of talk a little bit more about these cards since I haven't really mentioned them much. Here it says bring to fruition, veils parting, healing and balance shine forth. So I guess that kind of, actually I kind of do like the order it decided to go in. So when I see this, it is to me telling me right now, this is a reminder for you that you're in a period of healing and balance, and that this will not last forever. And then I also like the next card is sunshine, shine forth. So it's like things will get easier once you've kind of just gone through this physical need to detox. So maybe it looks like physically detoxing from parasites, or maybe fungal or heavy metals or whatever. I can't think of anything else right now, but just detoxing in general. And then I do see, yeah, veils parting, things becoming clear. You know, it's always easier to say, like, being someone else seeing this, that like this is all going to be clear after. If you feel really heavy right now, if you're really disconnected, you'll see at the end, like, all of this was for a reason. Also, I like to bring into fruition is also some red tomatoes, so much grounding stuff. So I almost wonder, just like with this huge grounding and need for more grounding, message that keeps coming through for this pile. If there is a little thing here saying like maybe you've never really been able to be fully grounded or rooted in your body in this lifetime. And this is all going to help you really get more grounded. And from my experience, it's really hard to manifest in and be really, really good at bringing things in quickly if you're ungrounded. It's not impossible, it just is harder. It is slower, it does take longer. And I feel like that's something that I think is getting better. But before I used to always see like crown chakra this, open your crown chakra, be more connected to your crown, everyone would be more in the crown. But I realized like the truest way to ascension, I think, is to be balanced in the crown and the root. Because they're both important, and you can't bring in the energy and the knowledge into your whole body and ground it into the physical body if you're not grounded. So I actually think the root chakra is so important, and could maybe use a little more intention than what some people do get it. But I think you're learning this lesson because everything's all about the root here. So yeah, just to sum all that up, I really think all this disconnection, any like lower emotions, maybe old depression. I think that might be something this pal's struggling with, like old depression or fear, or just kind of like bummer energy. Like just that's not quite the right. It's fine. Sorry, if you've heard me heard me in my other card readings, I feel a lot of the sensations and just feel like I get it. And sometimes I have a hard time verbalizing it. But I do just, I really feel like just heavy energy, almost like a numbness. And it is just temporary. It's just processing and releasing this old stuff. But it is important for you to hold space for yourself. I would recommend maybe doing some inner child guided meditations, or non-guided if you feel connected enough to do that. If you're feeling like you're having a hard time connecting, sometimes the guided meditations can be nice. Just about inner child connection, releasing, grounding would be great if you do like Mother Earth or Gaia meditations, and just always focusing on releasing any of that old emotion that's not serving you. Maybe even try focusing on parts of your body and ask where it's being held, and then saying it's okay for it to release into the earth, for it to be transmuted. I think anything like that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure if I read this card or not. It said, oh yeah, so I'd read the one side. Okay, so this is why I was getting a really huge theme for this pile, is everyone lives in their own dream. And on the back it says, all people live in their own dream. In their own mind, they are in a completely different world from the one we live in. And I feel like this is like the truth. This is the core of what you feel and feel maybe disconnected from right now, but are trying to remember and find your reconnection to. And I feel like you're gonna get there. It's just weird right now with this old stuff coming up. This will not last forever. I feel like I have to say that. So where are you headed? Just to also make that question really clear for you all. You feel like you're headed into a different level of connectedness and empowerment with your ability to be fully grounded in your body, your ability to be fully present, that to a level that you haven't previously experienced, just due to the heaviness and some of the stuff you went through when you were younger. So I see you all as being very, very powerful, very abundant. I see that being something you're calling in. And if you're like, yes, I have been working on that, this is part of the process. Is, it's like, we can call in abundance, we can call in things, but sometimes we need to release things so that we can get what we want. I think you're very much in that phase. But I do feel like it's going to be really, really neat to see what comes after this. So this creative fire is so, so much. And also divine sexuality. To me, it's like all we really are is... Sorry about that. Camera battery died. And then my cat walked across the cards. Sorry, a little distraction. Okay, I think what I was saying is all we really are is life force energy, and just to me, life force energy is actually the same as sexual energy, but I feel like there's some misconceptions around that, and one is like a dark thing and one is like a light thing. But I really feel like that was just some sort of weird program we picked up somewhere hundreds of years ago and just kept going through with. So anyways, I just love seeing this card because this is really talking about that sacral chakra, that Kundalini creation energy coming in and just being a powerhouse of manifestation. So do remember that the world does listen to our thoughts, does listen to what we put out there, and that becomes a reality. So just hang in there. I feel like say your affirmations. And I know that sounds really corny and random, but I feel like say your affirmations, stick to those meditations. It's a funk right now, but when you come out of it, I feel like you're going to feel like more, like I keep saying, I see super, super connected. The sacred geometry thing is just so big right now. Really being in control of the patterns and understanding how to create the reality around you. Yeah. It's gonna be cool. It is interesting. I'm still feeling like the general energy is still feeling pretty like disconnected and a little bit, I don't know if the word numb is right, but I feel like you're gonna be in this phase in no time. You just, like I keep wanting to say this because I know sometimes when we're in a funk we don't hear everything because we kind of go into our own thoughts and minds. Really what it's saying is don't drop those great routines that make you feel connected and go within. It's like the opposite of what you want to do right now, but the fastest way through it is to feel it, hold space for it, and just lighten your load a little bit. Yeah, don't take on more, take on less, which is maybe not what you want to hear, but it's almost saying don't distract yourself, feel through it. And before I go here, I'm just gonna maybe play. Oh, where did I put it? I am just gonna play this pyramid again. The intention is to help ground you as much as you can right now and release anything that isn't serving your highest good. So another thing to say as well is maybe if you like getting energy support, maybe get a Reiki session, maybe go to a sound bath, do things that although it's like everything in your body is telling you to run away or not deal with or cope with or feel through this emotion, it's almost like important to do the opposite, right? It's kind of like that irony of like we're feeling gross, we're trying to run from it, but instead we need to feel into it to feel out of it. Okay, so that all being said, I'm going to play this now and just maybe set the intention of releasing anything that's not serving you in your highest good and love and light. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hope this brought a little bit of clarity or insight for you, and I hope you feel better soon, more like yourselves again. Hello, pile 2. So you chose the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. And then here are some of the cards that I had pulled already. Before we look at any of them, I'll pull the rest of the cards here. And we're just asking for any guidance on... Actually, I should rephrase that. We're just asking for any reminders from your higher self on who you are and where you want to go and where you've come from. Anything that you need to hear right now related to that in love and light for the highest good of all involved here. I also just want to thank all of you for liking or commenting on these videos. It really helps, like the one video, get more views and all that, and it is crazy the difference it makes, but for some reason it makes one. So thank you for doing that. I so appreciate it. Okay, now let's get back to you. Okay, how many cards? We'll pull one more. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We have Great Teacher. We have Autumn. We have Summer. That's interesting. Okay, we have Elder. And we have, ooh, I'm going to try to say that, Shaolin Master. Shaolin Master. Be graceful in movement and action. And we have Shield Maiden, make plans and focus. It is interesting. In pile 1, they had a lot of tan colors as well, and so do you, which apparently is all about fertility, growth, and a need for more grounding. So I'm wondering if you're going to get a little bit of a message there about that. And also another interesting thing is pile 1 also had a card that said autumn and summer, I think. Interesting. Must be a thing right now. Transition phase we're all going through. So otherwise, I chose this card for you, or I should say pulled this card for you, wanting a quote or a phrase that would just really click with you right now. And it says, do your best because you want to. And here it says, you do your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Not because you are trying to please the judge, and not because you're trying to please others. Yeah, so it's really like doing what you want to do because you want to do it in the moment, not out of obligation. Okay, then we have Palm. Apply past lessons, Mountain. Ooh, love that. Spiritual quest. Lake and Pond. Spirit is about. Believe in your dreams. Move and adapt. And be cautious. Fog and mist. Wow, you got a lot of these cards. Might not quite have room for these other ones just yet. So I chose 2 cards for, oh, so funny. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. When I was pulling a goddess card for everyone, I actually thought I was gonna pull Callie for someone. I don't know why, I just thought I would. And then I kind of asked myself, what would that mean? I said, oh, it's because there's a lot of need for destruction of the old in their life right now. Lots of just a complete redo. So that is really, really interesting. Wow. I feel like there's a lot of shit going on in your lives, for lack of better words. Okay. Anyways, crazy. Callie, I release all that doesn't serve me, and it's time to be the truth of who I am. So yeah, really feel like that means completely starting from scratch and starting from what you want to do and who you want to be and all of that. So a healing mantra says liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. And the 2 crystals that I pulled that you can work with if you like working with crystals is Spirit Quartz, which is focused around healing, and Moonstone, which is all about transcendence and transformation. Ooh, that's really neat. I love Moonstone. And it looks like it's a piece of rainbow moonstone, but I don't know if that really matters. Okay, I am just going to put these over here because there's not a lot of room right now. as per usual in these card readings. Also, what is interesting is you got number 1 and 33, which once again to me talks about restarting and reestablishing your support systems. 3s to me, for some reason, always talks about, I think of triangles and pyramids and supportive structures. So I think that's the focus on what needs to be rebuilt in your life. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second to kind of tune in a little bit about why some of these cards may have come forward. Oh, there's a cat. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to apply to you all, but something that's coming up and I just like flashed in my head is last week's card reading. One of the piles, I think it was pile 1, talked about narcissistic personality types and just people being in relationships with them. And this card pile is making me think a little bit of that. It's so funny. Like, I guess really what did it was this: release the old and rest. Take it, like, I feel like when I see this great teacher, it's almost like take the lessons and the love, but leave the rest. Like, keep those memories and learn from them. You don't need to keep hanging on to them. I'm not quite wording this right. It's almost like sometimes people stay too long because they've put so much time into a relationship and they're just like, well, if I leave now, then it would have been a waste of my time, or would have been a waste of this much time. But I'm getting like this message that just get it, like, it's not too late. You still have a whole life you can live. Take the lessons learned and the love that you felt in memory and leave the rest. Just leave the situation. So the release, the old and rest. Take a break, reconnect with yourself. And then here it's saying there's so much here about, and I think this is kind of like higher self talking to you about, I wonder if when you were younger you said you never wanted a relationship like the one your parents had or like other people around you had. There's something going on there, like you wanted something better, something different. And here it's like a little reminder that there is an ancestral pattern in your family tree, your family line, of being in chaotic relationships or not as loving as they could be relationships. And this is your higher self here. Your higher self is saying you don't want that. You want something better, something more balanced. And it's interesting because now I am really drawn to this yin and yang symbol that's like floating here. And it is talking again about that balance. Someone who, how do I put that? I feel like someone who is balanced within themselves. That's what it is. It's not that you need each other because you're polar opposites and one is totally ungrounded and one is very grounded, or one's like crazy and the other one's kind. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's saying like it's like your soul wants you to find someone who is balanced within themselves and also calls on you to learn to be balanced within yourself outside of others may see. It's so interesting too. Now I'm also seeing like this other, it's almost like I feel like these are the two hands here, and it's like, what story do you want? What experience do you want? Do you want the one that feels, like I'll use the word again, balanced and honoring, I think is the word I'm saying, honoring? Or do you want the one that seems interesting, draws the eye like the fastest, but also is the most dangerous? Dangerous not because, how would I put it, because it's interesting, dangerous because they're the most unstable mentally, personality wise, relationship wise, the most unstable. So anyways, then I see next is make a plan and stay focused. So it's almost like saying reconnect, and I feel like you probably did watch last week's video, pile 1, because I feel like it's just like I feel like people who are leaving narcissistic relationships need a lot of repetition and need to hear the same thing again and again, because the other person's been telling you that you're crazy and you make things up and kind of like mentally confusing you. So it's almost like you need a lot of repetition to really cement or allow in a different truth, if that makes sense. So anyways, I see it saying like focus and recenter with yourself about what you want. Remember, you don't want the relationship. You didn't want the relationship your parents had, or maybe your grandparents had, or your uncles, or your sisters, or dads, like whatever it was, had. You wanted something different. And then it's saying now you have to choose to stay in this chaotic relationship or not. Does it remind you of the chaos that your parents, your family members, your family tree had? And then it's funny, I see the dragon all about like it's going to take some strength, but make a plan about what you're going to do when you're feeling withdraw or alone or isolated. Have a plan for yourself. Make a plan. What are you going to do so you don't go back? And also, it's also saying like you're going to have to like kind of fight those inner demons of yours. Like that's like the best way I can phrase it. Like I almost see it saying like you're gonna have to like stand up for yourself in your own mind when this doubt seeks in, when you start saying things and it feels like circulatory thinking, like, well, what if I never find anyone else who can love me? I'm so challenging. What if someone else doesn't accept me? What if they're the best I'll ever have? What about those times where I felt great? Or I don't want to be someone who isn't loyal, who doesn't stick things through. Like whatever those sort of toxic thoughts that you've had programmed into you start coming up, you're going to have a backup plan about what you're going to do. And so stay focused. Do not forget it. Read that list. Take it out every time. Whatever you need to say as a reminder. Maybe on that list you say, I do not want the relationships my parents had, my family members had, my sister had, my brother had, my friends had, whatever it is. Remember your inspirational fuel. And like I said, when I see this goddess is with you, and she is, to me, is like the goddess of death and destruction, that means like it's all gotta go. It's not serving you. This is kind of like a chaotic, toxic pattern, and there's nothing left here that's going to bring you anything new, is what I'm gonna say. It just doesn't serve you. It's time to release it, and I feel like you know it, and you know it. And the other thing I want to just point out here is when I see this bee, it talks so much about connection and finding your tribe. So I almost see like you're in the autumn stage. You're kind of maybe dreading it. You keep feeling kind of gross, and this relationship is really not serving you, but then maybe that's even why these are coming up as contrast. But then there'll be like this like feeling connected. You feel a little bit of light. You see a little bit of soul, and then you want to continue. And it's just, I don't know. To me, this is talking a lot about there's such polar opposites in this relationship. And the great teacher, even in this card too, talks about setting yourself free and even setting them free, like releasing this relationship. And like it says, like I said at the start, really talks about taking the lessons and the love you had and leaving the rest. Not being afraid to step away, because you've learned your lesson. You've learned many lessons from this experience, and it's just not worth hanging on to anymore and going through that circle. Yeah. And this card here, it's so funny now that I really read this again. Do your best because you want to. This just really talks about how right now you might be in a position where you do a lot of things because you're trying to lessen the emotional response of the other person in this relationship. Like maybe they have a bad temper, or maybe they're just very dramatic or emotional. And it's like you feel like you do a lot of things. You're always like giving 90% of your effort and attention and time to this person, and you're only leaving a small amount to the people who actually support you and fuel you and are healthy and supportive and equally committed to you. So it's so funny. Actually, the more I look at it too, I keep seeing like, here's like these beautiful babies and beautiful new ideas and friendships, and you know, like you could put this as anything kind of like exciting, new, and good, and then there's your attention to the emptiness where this other person just, there's nothing really there for you. it's always the same result. And it's time to like start going to this new beautiful start. I hope that was a good, that's not a reference, I can't think of the word. Good analogy, there we go, a good analogy. I do want to talk about the insane amount of these nature cards I pulled for you. I think the other pile pulled 4 or 3, so it's just seems like a lot. So interesting enough, fog and mist, be cautious. I see this as like mental confusion and mental uncertainty, and the be cautious I get is just on, I get like it's right underneath this card that's telling me like subconscious programming, limiting beliefs, all that fear, shame, and guilt that has been programmed into you, or you've been manipulated into kind of having used against you, will come up. And it's, I almost get it as be cautious of believing in that, of letting your guard down, that is true, because it's not your truth. This is something that needs to be healed, that needs to be reprogrammed, for lack of a better word, because it's, the unfortunate part is when so many people have told you this about yourself, it's become very prevalent in your subconscious thinking. So that's where I see the be cautious. It's not be cautious. It's so funny. I feel like there can be a lot of fear that comes up with this around like the relationship and like what if it's a mistake and blah 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 and all this other stuff. It's not that. It's literally be cautious that you don't forget your truth and let that old programming, that old abuse programming come in and put you back in this type of relationship. So these really feel like advice cards, actually. So apply past lessons. Once again, it's talking about take this as a lesson. Somebody here, I don't know if it's just one person, but every time I look at these cards, I keep getting somebody here is going to say, but I've put so much time and effort into this. I can't walk away now. I don't want to be a person who isn't loyal, who doesn't see things through. And it's saying like, you still have time to do something different. It doesn't matter if you are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or even 90. You have time left in your life. If you're breathing today, you still have time to have something different, to learn from this and move past it. You still have time. And the spiritual quest is telling me that this is going to be hard. This is hard to leave these narcissistic relationships. And we go through a journey of self-discovery, of wondering who we are and wondering what we want to do because we want to do. We want to do it, not because we have to. Someone's going to emotionally manipulate or guilt us into it, that we're trying to control a situation from getting hostile or chaotic. This is all about rediscovering yourself. It's so like, believe in your dreams, believe you're capable, believe you can have what you want. Such a big message from your higher self. Move and adapt. You are very adaptable. You've survived this type of relationship for any amount of time. You are very adaptable. You've learned to be extremely adaptable and to observe things. So do not worry about being able to make it without this person, because however they may have made you feel, you were able to survive them. You were able to coexist with them and still be alive today. You are very adaptable and very observant. So do not let anyone tell you, or any default programming from their abuse, let you feel like you are not intelligent enough to find a way and figure out a way to live without them, to move past them. Don't forget that. Spirit is about, this is telling me and you a little reminder that there are good things watching out for you. Like, I feel like there's some belief that maybe, like, for lack of better words, like God wouldn't look out for you or God doesn't love you. That is so not true. It is saying right here, like, you are so loved, you are so deserving, and your dreams can happen. The universe is working for you, not against you. You have done nothing wrong. You trusted someone who then took advantage of it out of fear of losing you, and contorted the relationship and contorted love into something that wasn't so beautiful. So I feel like there's just such a call here to know and not be angry at yourself. Many people have fallen for this kind of behavior, that you can just learn from it and move on and discover who you are and live your life for yourself. That is the most self-honoring thing you can do. To enjoy your life and love it without them is probably actually the best thing you can do for yourself. So such a big theme around transcending patterns in relationship and healing from them and figuring out who you are. And I know it sounds intimidating, but completely restarting so that you can cultivate something beautiful. I don't think there's any relationships right now that have your primary intention that are worth hanging on to. As it says here, release all that doesn't serve you. It's time for a rebirth. It's time for your true self to show and live by that. So I can't remember if I actually read this whole card, this healing mantra. It says, I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. Liberating love. So this actually really makes sense now that I read this, knowing what this reading was about. It's all about you putting in that 120% into this relationship and getting very little back, or only getting someone who's trying to find problems with it back. And I feel like the healing mantra is because you've lived so long being the one-sided giver that it's going to be hard for you to learn to safely receive it back, that same intense amount of love. So very, very big healing stuff for you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I do want to just say, like, if you, a lot of this stuff is talking about like being outdoors here, like lakes, ponds, mountains. I see trees and prairies. A good place maybe for you to feel connected and safe maybe is going on some walks in parks near waters or ponds, or maybe through farmland if you live in a farm. But I just really feel like reconnecting with the earth itself could help help you feel a little bit safer, a little more connected. And also, it's such a big call to like release and ground with Mother Earth any emotions that aren't serving you. Like, I feel like you're gonna need to cry your little hearts out and just be okay with releasing that, or being angry and releasing that. So yeah, maybe lots of time out in nature really will help with that, whether it's gardening too. Sorry, I just saw that. Gardening for some, hugging a tree, standing on the roots and really feeling connected and supported. I feel like just follow your intuitions. This is a big journey for you, and I feel like a lot of you have been wanting to take this for many years. And like I said, you probably will keep getting card readings repeating this information because there's so much in your life that has told you you're wrong about this and manipulated you in thinking the other way, that it's almost created a lot of doubt, self-doubt, and a distrust in yourself. So it's okay. Keep watching those card readings until, I guess, it really clicks for you and you really make that list and stay strong and know that your subconscious has been programmed to, for lack of better words, like devalue your own words and thoughts. So you're going to need to have some sort of system in place to remind you why you left, why you don't want to go back, and why you deserve better and why you want better for yourself, why you're doing this. So best of luck. Before you go here, I'm just going to play that pyramid, and I want you to set the intention to release into the sound anything that is not serving you. So any fear, any stagnant emotions, any maybe subconscious programming that you are just done with, just release it into that sound. And I'm just going to grab it here. Okay. And I'll just let it play as long as it needs, and then I'll let you all go. wishing you the best. And you've got this. You are stronger than what people have allowed you to believe. You've made it this far. You've got this. Hello, pile 3. So you all had chosen the Mystic of Magdalene, and here are the cards that I had pulled. But before we get started in looking into any of these, I'm going to pull the rest of your cards. So we're just setting the intention that any reminders from your higher self that you need to hear right now about where you want to go, who you want to be, and any information around why you're feeling disconnected, I'm open to coming through as long as it's in your highest good. So let's begin. And I just want to say thank you to any of you who have liked or left comments on my videos. It so helps the video find other people, and I just really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Yeah, so thank you so much if you've been doing that on my other videos or not. Okay, so let's see what is coming out for you all. Okay, I don't quite want that one. Or that one. Okay. It's funny. Sometimes I only want the back cards. So the 2 will pop up, and then I just, for some reason, only want the one at the end. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got for you. We have number 42. Don't know what that is. The fruit of the vine, abundance and growth. Ooh, that's a great card. Mary with the alabaster jar, ask questions, express your love, songs of songs. Desert rose, true love cannot hide. Awaken in the dream, embrace new possibilities. And we have the lady and the unicorn, hidden in plain sight. Interesting, there's 2 cards talking literally about hiding. Yeah, and I also feel like there's 2 cards here about partnership and soul connection. So let's just see what's going on here. Okay, sorry. Having a hard time picking up these cards. Okay, and then, whoops, what is going on? Okay, this is a card that I chose for something that would really resonate with your soul right now. So it says, be aware of the unconscious assumptions. And here it says, assumptions are made so fast and unconsciously that most of the time, because we have agreements to communicate this way, we have agreed that it is not safe to ask questions. We have agreed that if people love us, they should know what we want or how we feel. Interesting. This feels like it goes with this card, Awaken in the Dream, possibilities. Very similar imagery and vibes. So we'll look into why that's coming up in a little bit here. We have Dandelion, which is persist in pursuits. Whoops. We have Iris, maintain hope. Elm, trust intuition. Beech, power and prayer. And Redwood, ancient teachings. You got a lot of trees, a lot of tree energy, which seems to be the theme in this pick a card of all the piles today, is a need for more grounding in self and in body. We have a healing mantra, which is cultivating courage. In any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. I'm gonna put this over here for space right now. The goddess that's with you right now, Lilith. Interesting. I actually feel like this is a sexual energy block now. Yeah, interesting. Okay. It says, I am the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. You know what? It's so weird. And maybe this isn't going to resonate with the whole pile, but when I read this card here about assumptions, I felt like it was referring to sex as well. I don't know why. I don't really know why some of these ideas pop into my head. I just assume it's some part of my intuition. Oh, and then you also have Kundalini and Shakti. Okay, so I'm definitely thinking there is some sex life issues, and it's interesting. I'm like, why is this coming up? We're gonna look into that. Yeah, you know what? The more I feel into it, I feel like there's like this desire for honesty and partnership, but there's a lot of fear and old programming and blocks um, around what's going on. Why is this coming up in a regrouping, reconnection reading, though? That's like another great question. It's so funny how Spirit just throws some crazy ass shit at you sometimes as a card reader, and you're like, I thought this was going to be about like, I need to go eat better food or something. And instead, I have gotten all sorts of card readings I had no idea I was going to get. Okay. Discipline. Interesting. Okay. I don't know where to put you right now. I'll just put you over here. Sorry, I know you can't quite see it, but I always seem to be lacking room in these card readings. Go like that. Okay, let me just take a second to ground myself and just feel into what is going on a little bit more. Okay, so I feel like, and whether this makes sense to you all or not, about regrouping, reconnection with yourself and getting clear on where you want to put your focus. Maybe you've been in some, how would I put that, in some ups and downs in your marriage or relationships lately, and I almost wonder if you're just like looking for a card reading to help you feel like, why are you going through all this work? Why are you putting in all this effort? If there's a lot of like just exhaustion sometimes and like feeling defeated or like nothing's changing. That's kind of the energy I'm getting from this. So hopefully if you're not connecting with that energy, then maybe this isn't the card reading for you. But when I see this fruit of the vine, abundance and growth, I feel like there's so much here saying that there is still, like for lack of the analogy here, there's still fruit to be had from this relationship. There's still experiences and growth and opportunities and abundance to come from this relationship. Like, I just feel like it's not done yet. There's still a lot to gain and a lot that you can literally harvest and grow still. It's kind of funny. I really feel like they're really, really saying that food analogy here. And it's really saying like your aspirations for your love life aren't just dreams or aren't unfounded. There really is something good here. And then it makes me kind of want to jump over here to these cards. I feel like there's like some emotional stuff going on for you. Like, I feel like there's a dissatisfaction in, like I was saying at the start, like literally in maybe your sexual intimacy. Like, I feel like when I see the woman looking over here, I keep seeing, it says true love cannot hide. I feel like it's telling me that there's like a block in communication. Sorry, cat hair. It's like, I feel like there's a lot going on in your head that you know you want, but maybe it's from fear, maybe it's out of habit that you aren't quite communicating it to your partner. So it's almost like I can see, like, you know exactly what you wish they would do, you know exactly what you're wanting or needing from them, but there's such a wall on being allowed or able to ask. And it feels like it's from a point of shame. So it can, I don't know if you are male or female, but I do feel like the root here is, the block is shame or worry or fear. Like, if say you're the man, if you like, maybe you're worried you're not you don't know, you're scared to ask how to satisfy your partner, or vice versa. Maybe you're the woman and you're scared to ask the same question, or to, I feel like though, the energy is so strong about someone's sexual desires not being met. So there's bigger energy around you not being sexually satisfied in the relationship, but being fearful of how to ask that. So funny, why did I get the Lilith card? Because to me, this is such a symbol of like a confident, sexually advanced or sexually aware woman or person, depending on what gender you are or how you resonate. The whole principle though is like, this is someone who I almost see like was shamed for being sexually free and knowing themselves sexually, and this is the block here. So this goddess kind of comes in to help bring you courage and rediscover yourself and your own sexuality. There's just such a big block around shame, I think. A lot of shame here. So it's funny. Right away, I'm starting to think maybe this pile would be interested in listening to some podcasts, say around like sexual empowerment. Pillow Talks, I feel like, could be a podcast that might resonate with some of you. It's like a couple, one's a sex therapist and one's just like their partner, and they just talk about their own struggles and the struggles they've seen many people have. And maybe it would just be relatable for this pile, or encouraging. So it's Pillow Talks. I can't remember their names. Hang on, I'll look it up quick. I think, yeah. Okay, it's Vanessa and Xander are their names. So if you're interested, maybe that will help. But I do, yeah, it's funny. I see awaken in the dream, embrace the new possibilities, hidden in plain sight. So many of these cards are talking about learning to release that shame and finding your voice and your ability to express your desires to your partner, specifically around sex. And even me saying that, I feel like can make some people a little uncomfortable. So if you're still with me despite your discomfort, awesome. This is a great first step. This first step of many. So the other thing I want to talk about, it says express your love, Song of Songs. This is really neat. So I wonder if your partner is a words of affirmation, if that's like one of their 5 love languages. And it's funny because when I see all these cards, I get the impression that you maybe you think a lot, there's a lot going on in your mind, but you don't actually voice or express nearly as much as you think you do. And maybe you've come to realize this, or maybe people tell you that, and I'm sorry if that's like an annoying thing to hear, but I really see like there's a lot, so much going on in your mind. It's almost like you're overthinking everything, and then what ends up coming out is only like a 1/50th of what you've actually thought through and kind of gone through on your own. So there's a huge thing here around suggesting that you intentionally maybe set a habit or routine of voicing things that you're grateful for, appreciative of, or love about them, or appreciate about them. If you're in a kind of turbulent time, it might be hard to say, I love this about you, because I can understand how that can be a bit of a block. But if you can even just start with, I'm really happy that you took out the garbage today, because that took like a burden off my shoulders, or things like that. Start small, but it's all about setting a habit or a practice, I feel like, because I feel like this is going to bring you a lot of connection. You don't maybe quite understand how much compliments really, really build up your partner. So that's kind of like an interesting advice that's coming towards you. Tangerine quartz, solar plexus chakra. Okay, yeah, it is interesting. It's saying like the big block here for this pile is around, I think, maybe it was purity culture, maybe you were in a religious organization or affiliation growing up, maybe your parents just like, maybe your mom or your dad kind of like slut shamed people. There's just something going on. It's saying like it's from the past. This is stuff that came from your growing up stages that you're just trying to release and move through. And it's so clear that you want a deeper relationship. I feel like you've probably struggled with this in maybe other boyfriends or girlfriends that you've had, maybe before you're married, or maybe before this partner that you're with. And it's really like, I feel like you want the change, but sometimes you feel like it might be impossible. But I think every relationship you've gotten a little bit better at being clearer about things. And maybe it doesn't seem like a big step to some, but it has been huge steps for you. So the dandelion, persistent in pursuits. I love this because it almost makes me feel like you wished that you would get to a place where you could really just fully be honest about your desires, about what you want, fully express yourself. And I feel like this is just a reminder that this is coming in, and with persistence and baby steps, you are going to get there. You are getting there. It feels like maybe miles away right now, but you know what you want. And I keep seeing from this card that there is a lot of goodness left in this relationship, and to still experience that you haven't even experienced yet. You know what, I skipped this card, but it says ask questions. This is actually really good, because I was talking over here about how I think because of past relationship patterns and past, just like, doesn't have to be romantic relationships, but like parent, family, friends, coworkers, you kind of have like an assumption on what will happen or what a certain word means. You know how they'll say like some people almost have like trigger words. If you say this, like, then they like think you're going to be this whole other thing. Like, we all have them. It's just saying like really bring awareness to this, because something tells me you've been drawn into a relationship where you have very opposite communication styles, so that you can be challenged to break these past cycles or woundings you've had. So this is probably a very, very growth-based relationship, where it's almost like you'll see the peace and the ease of it and more later in the relationship, and the more maturity of the relationship. You didn't choose an easy one, is what I'm trying to say. You chose a very strong growth one. You really probably trigger each other, but you're both good people, and you want to work on it. You both want to be better, and you see that you're better people. How do I say this? I don't know. It's not an abusive relationship. It's just a very triggering one, because it triggers old wounds. Does that make sense? So I hope I'm clarifying this. So the maturity of the relationship will bring more and more reward and beauty into it. And that's just sort of the purpose of this relationship. So maintain hope, trust your intuition, and power in prayer and ancient teaching. So yeah, so much here. I guess this is kind of confirming for me as the card reader that I'm seeing it on the same page. Like, keep your hopes up, be persistent. This relationship really has so many blessings on its way, and it's going to get you, it's going to push you into dealing with this block that you've had in past relationships about being fully yourself, being totally okay with being sexually free, sexually expressive, and just so beautifully you. So much here. And then trust your intuition. I feel like you know that there's something good here. It's a lot. It's exhausting. It can get frustrating, and it can be really tiring. But it's just like, just keep trusting that it's all for something. You're not just pushing through a pile of shit to get into more shit. I don't know. I can't think of an analogy, but I'm just seeing like there is an end to it, and the end is fruitful. Power of prayer and ancient teachings. This is so interesting, because I keep going back to, like, I think this is like maybe you're in your family, no one has accomplished being like this kind of relationship, very open, very honest, very vulnerable. I feel like there could be some old gender roles that your family believes in playing in, or maybe it's funny. It's like if they are opposite, there still isn't that vulnerability that you want. So I feel like there's such a thing here about wanting to break past family patterns, family tree beliefs, family beliefs. There we go. There's definitely something going on. You know what? I do want to read this redwood card. I don't know why. I'm really drawn to it. So I'm just going to grab this cute mini guidebook. Well, that's so funny. I just accidentally opened it up, and it says sexual energy. One of the strongest forces within humans is sexual energy. It's just funny I happened to open it to that page. Okay. Some strong energy here. Something tells me too that this pile is actually like very, very, I don't know, how do I put it? Like some people might say like, oh, you don't have a lot of, like, you don't have a lot of desire, you don't have a lot of sexual desire within you, but they so don't understand you. You're the opposite of that. You have so much, but you just haven't known how to express it. So it's just, I don't know, I find that very interesting. But as people get to know you, or I should say as this partner gets to know you, they are going to see that I think your sexual desire way outweighs theirs. You just haven't had a place to safely show it, or feel like you've been safe enough to express it without judgment. Okay, sorry, it's taking me a minute to find the right one here. Maybe I passed it. Season and climates. Landscapes, flowers, tree. Okay, there we go, that's why. Oh, redwood is 111. Okay. I have some friends who would lose their mind that it was on page 111. Okay, so it says, ancient teachings, the Sikuoi, I don't know what type of tree it is, family is home to some of the oldest spirits upon the planet. They possess great knowledge and wisdom, and their appearance now heralds in a time of ancient wisdom opening to you. Pay attention to your dreams. At this ancient insight and wisdom will reflect itself in your dreams, increasingly in the coming months. Your life is taking on a new meaning and a new perspective, and you will come to understand circumstances of your past in a new light. It is a call for you to begin following your vision. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I feel like it's just talking about lots of new coming in and learning from the past, and you're not someone who repeats mistakes. I get that much. Whether you believe that or not, you don't make the same mistake a bunch of times. And you've even seen it. Like, I think in every relationship you've adapted a little bit, you've opened up a little bit more. But like I said, I think this partner is going to be able to create space for you to be vulnerable enough and honest enough. It's just, it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but I do feel like you will. Okay, here we go. I also want to read this beech one. It says, the beech tree can awaken old knowledge and new expressions of it within our life. Its spirit is one of great strength and grace. Its presence here is a reminder that your words have great power to heal, to curse, to bless, and more. When you give vocal expressions to thoughts, their energy begins to unfold and manifest somewhere in the world around you. Look to the power of prayer. It will make your thoughts and wishes clearer and help you accomplish tasks more easily right now. It has great potential right now, and those prayers will be heard. Oh yeah, so I feel like this is just like a confirmation that what you're asking for is coming in despite what things might appear to be. Okay, so maybe just to leave things, cultivating courage. This is actually, it's so funny. Every time I've read this first, I have not like totally understood what it means. And now after talking with the whole reading, this makes so much sense, because that is what we are ultimately working on here, is cultivating courage to express what you need to express, to say what you're so knowing in your soul you want to say, but have felt shamed or not able to say it. Maybe you've had people use that vulnerability against you in the past. I'm not totally sure, but there's definitely a bit of a block there that you're working on. So it says, in any given moment, I always know exactly what to do. Yeah, beautiful. Breathwork, I think, also could be very important for this pile. Maybe you've even started doing that. Breathing to calm yourself down, breathing when you're feeling overwhelmed or triggered or frustrated, or like someone's not getting you, just realizing what your breath is doing so you can recenter and maintain that calm, collected version of yourself that you like to be in. And you know what? I've been doing this for all the other piles. This is all I have for you, but I'm play that crystal pyramid again. And if you want to set the intention of just releasing anything that's not serving you, any fear, guilt, shame, and just really sending it into the sound to be transmuted, I will go grab that now, and you can do that. Okay, here we go. I'll let it play as long as it seems to want to. Okay. I'm wishing you the best of luck. You know, it can be tiring and exhausting, but I really do see that there is some wonderful things left here, and this isn't all for nothing. You will reap the rewards you're seeking. So best of luck. Breathe and know that you're gonna get there, and you're brave enough and courageous enough to be vulnerable. And you now are in a safe place.